I believe in him. I think that he's somebody that you have to watch in this heat, on his backhand up against a couple youngsters.
A couple of different storylines playing out here, Peter. We've got Gabriel Medina trying to really get himself back to his best after a great start to the year. And Leonardi, Fioravanti, the Italian competitor who really had his way with the world's best with some wildcard opportunities in 2016, has yet to win a heat at the CT level. So we'll also see how he's performing. But here's Medina, a quick start for the 2015 world champ.
Well, if you had heard the boys before saying that Gabriel had moved way up to get that inside position, knowing that he wanted to catch those first wave of the set, which he has done, or first wave of the heat. Nice rhythm for him. Again, not one of the bigger set waves, but it stayed on the reef. Performs fairly well until the end there, and it gets himself a pretty good start.
Correction, 2014 world champion. But
the flow and the backhand snaps have been, they're just as solid as they come.
Stu Kennedy up now on his first ride. Nice slice to get started. Little lip line floater there, straight onto the rail. This board looking very nice under his feet. Just cutting through these flatter walls very well at the moment. You think back to his great performance on the Gold Coast last year, and it was not your typical snapper rocks.
Well, that's a bonus. You can go into the surf shop, you can grab one off the rack, the same exact board that Stu's on right now after he just blew it up on that wave. Get back to action, here we go.
Thank you, Strato, waiting for the numbers to come in there. Medina open with a 7.07, searching for a backup here, and an uncharacteristic fall.
Well, getting that feet in the wax, which we always talk about, is like that cliche comment, but the reality is it's totally true. You've got to get your feet kind of sucked in and get some wax on the bottom so that your board feels nice and stuck to your feet.
Here goes Leonardi on his first wave. Very strong youngster. Trying to tap into some flow on the inside here. This wave's going to flatten out a little. He'll stick with it. Work it over, looking for some big points on the inside. Has those big airs he can go to, but this is a flatter kind of section, so he goes for a huge layback, throws that tail. Saw a free surfing clip of him just the other day drop on his Instagram, where he executed that exact move, but unsuccessful on that occasion.
Take a look. He's got himself a little brace on his ankle, talking to Belly, obviously working with Leo.
And also got himself a third round finish in France. So he never dropped out in the second round, and then he's kicked off his full-time year as a Championship Tour competitor in his rookie season with 2 round 2 exits. So a big gut check for him, Pete.
Absolutely, and I think it's good for him. I think that there's a bit of humility that comes with that. You can make a little bit of adjustments. His surfing's always been there. It's just a matter of now, making choices on waves. You see there, going for that big layback. This one, when you do these types of moves, it generally you want to see is it's just full commitment and laying it back. He keeps his front foot on the board and kind of lays with the water, and generally you can jump yourself back up on the board. Start laying back like that for a long period of time, it's not necessarily going to score super well. Take a look at Stewie here. Generally what's kind of cool about his equipment, when we touch on his equipment, is that Stuart is now taking the extreme design of the sci-fi and implementing the positives into a more traditional styled surfboard. So you're still going to have a really straight outline. His boards are going to be shorter. They're going to have that kind of sci-fi feel to them, and the triple concave, or the quadruple concave, as Jason had said. You can see it just holds its rail really nicely. With that kind of design, the really positive things that come out of that sci-fi design. Those 25ths, and you start to move through that first half of the year, it can be challenging, and psychologically as well.
Here goes Leo, he's got a lot of speed and needs all of it to find the open face. Puts a float up there.
We see him grabbing it. It's on his back ankle too. So he has to come around the section, so took a little while getting there. The back ankle just doesn't, he can't keep himself on the top of his board. It's just always in your mind.
And it looked to me then like Leo wasn't actually adjusting the brace, but in fact just grabbing at his ankle, like he was feeling some real discomfort. As we see Medina up now, looking to push further ahead here. Trying to get rid of a 2-point ride. He's already done that. Just pacing himself through this ride. Doesn't need to throw everything at this wave. Just wants to surf it right through to the inside. Definitely letting go of some quality turns, but just cruising through this ride. Wants to make life a little difficult for Stu Kennedy at this point in time, and he should do it with that ride.
I mean, I loved how he surfed that wave. Such great pace. Again, the snap, you know, and then he tries to do a little bit different, a little more energy in that one, get a little drift. Now he's going to go vert, zapped. Not a ton of variety now that you watch it again, but it doesn't really matter with the backhand if you're throwing water off the rail. You know, judges will take notice of that, you know, and there's big fans of water. I think that's one of his strong points as well for him.
You know, actually said that he kind of surfed them down a little bit. He took less risk and just wasn't chasing an excellent score to win the heat. Just wanted to make sure that he got the victory. As we see, Leo up once again, pretty deep. He will find it out onto the open face, and he goes all out. A big high-risk turn there, but he can't ride out. Stu Kennedy behind him. Going to that layback rail turn, but not a lot of opportunity down the line. He's going to kick out. Medina having a look at one out the back now. But Slater making the point that you don't need to combo your rivals.
It's right at a 6.3. I usually ride a bit longer, and I've got a bit shorter this year, but round tail and forget me not rocker, and it's yeah, I really like it because it still turns like a shorty, whereas I usually ride a long one and draw a nice long line. But
bring it on. It's definitely going to be some good battles unfolding as we cut back to live action. Leonardi trying to break combination here with only a minute and a half to go. It's going to be difficult with no jet ski assist out there in this first round. Just bashing away, and right behind him, Stu Kennedy is going to get a shot here. Chasing a 7.12 with this ride. Out there on that open face, swings that tail around. A lot of freedom with this piece of equipment. He's just trying to find a couple more major turns on this ride to put it up there in the 7-point range, but unsuccessful on the finish there. Medina just sticking strong out the back.
Then, you know, because of the fact that this isn't really one of our bigger set waves, so he tries to throw everything at this turn here. And you see that it's a different pace comparatively to Gabriel Medina's. You know, there's sometimes this wave calls for, you know, slowing things down a little bit. And Medina kind of matched that pace with his wave, what he needed to do. Didn't expend too much energy, and he's got a lot more to show us later, I'm sure.
A heat score total of 15.04. Medina easily coasting through to round 3.